Hi, my name's Aisha, and this is my account and my summary of the media debate that happened at the Houses of Parliament on Monday, the 25th of March 2013.
We're gonna make the stars come out tonight, so why don't you reload the music, reload the music. Just throw those hands up, show them you don't care. I want you to reload the music, reload the music.
Who cares about voting nowadays? Nowadays people are engaged to vote for shows like Big Brother and X Factor. Masses make records and break them in viewing, so who cares about elections nowadays? Nowadays voters wait, watch, locked outside as elections count without them, so who cares about politicians nowadays? Nowadays they just perch and their taxpayers paid for whatever they conduct the system. And bitch and moan about benefits who lead the country into deficit by taking and not giving back, so who cares about promises nowadays? Nowadays, manifestos are written in jargon by people detached from the mass, swallowed in parliament and removed from common language so big words confuse and diffuse because no one has got time to read head note to foot and take notes to contrast and compare. No one stares until they see between the lines the lies that hide inside smiles that style campaigns, so who cares about truth nowadays? Nowadays, people brave early mornings on body-heated trains to say possessions they don't really own. Credit cards are deceiving and bleeding victims believing that they're needing to live to repay, so each ref feeds debt and their souls become slaves to the pound, so who cares about protests nowadays? Nowadays tents are removed from the root and destroyed like weeds, because the silence is sowed that the stem breaks free and dreams left to bloom for ideas to pollinate, so who cares about nurture nowadays? Nowadays the youth are babysat by TV screens. And screams of communication because no one listens nowadays. iPods deafen and stress threatens isolation with problems from people who don't quite understand, because nowadays we are all different and unique and special and different. But difference is fear for survival, so nobody shares nowadays. Nobody trusts nowadays. Nowadays people travel in portable worlds. Phones, iPod, free news, or cars, no eye contact, brief smiles, small shuffles and silence. Silence. Because who cares about stories nowadays? Stories that reveal human nature at its peak and expose where we're weak but courageous. Stories of the past before the world spun fast and left face to artificial lights. We don't really care about life nowadays, because nowadays life is a competition where youth is a trophy that should be protected from age, where egos are large and injuries expected, because no one really cares about fun nowadays. The type of fun you will live in emotion, not drunken pictures plastered on Facebook, and not to mitigate account of a night mentioned proudly on Monday to co-workers who also survive by drinking and sleeping through the weekend, so the week never ends and change is never missed. So who cares about voting nowadays? Those who hope. Those whose energy is spent trying to defeat the odds built around them in capitalism and greed. Those who read and learn and educate minds outside of a structure designed to dictate destinies with narrow paths in concrete labyrinths. You see, freedom is often mistaken for the sight of light at the end of the tunnel. It's the sense that we are free that keeps us trapped. But who cares about that?
Shout to all my lost boys. Shout to all my lost boys. We rowdy. Shout to all my lost boys. Shout to all my lost boys. We rowdy. Shout to all my lost boys. Shout to all my lost boys. We rowdy. Shout to all my lost boys. Shout to all my lost boys. When you're ready, bass. When you're ready, when you're ready,
I believe that we will still have a free press as a result of Leveson.
How relevant is the Leveson to the group of people in this room? The traditional media is dying. Newspapers are dying, circulations are crashing, they're going down, and their readership is getting older. TV audiences are also dying. The average age of Channel 4 viewers, and Channel 4 is the youngest watched network in Britain, average age of a Channel 4 viewer is mid-40s. Mid-40s. I asked Anna earlier on, she said 28. I said you're wrong by about nearly 20 years. So my question to you really is, how relevant is the lesson? It is middle-class, white, middle-aged people regulating a middle-class, white, middle-aged industry. I think where you need to get really worried is if that regulation starts affecting bloggers and small publishers, because that is the future of the media. It is digital, it's online, it's about social networking. I managed 10 brilliantly inspiring, talented and creative young people, most of whom didn't actually watch TV. The hard part for you guys is how on earth you're going to make a living doing it. Because the jobs are still in the traditional media. And that's in a way what The Hatch was about. The Hatch was about trying to bridge these two worlds. But again, my question for you is, how actually relevant is the Leveson to you?
I strongly believe that young people are perceived in a wrong way, and I wanted to know what the fundamental basis was.
And should there be more events like this?
Definitely, I think. As young people, as a whole collective, by newspapers and people's opinion about young people, I think it definitely needs to be that shown and told that not all young people are the same, and that some of us do have ambition and achievements that we want to reach.
I ran a headline on Wednesday morning. It said 40% of knife crime is committed by under 18-year-olds. 40%. And an MP stood up at the Prime Minister's question time about lunchtime, and he said, has the Prime Minister seen the headline in The Sun this morning saying that 40% of knife crime is committed by under 18s? Now, you all know knife crime was a huge issue at the last election. It's a huge issue generally. And the government had decided to toughen up sentencing, and they had decided that young people under 18s probably shouldn't be going to jail most of the time because of knife crime. There are better ways of dealing with it. And the MP stood up, he cited this headline, and he said, what's the Prime Minister going to do about it? And this claim developed legs, and in due course the law was amended to actually bring under 18s into the scope of what they were doing to change sentencing on knife crime. The problem being that the Sun's initial headline was completely wrong. They had asked one policeman in one area, how many young people do you think are responsible for knife crime? And presented that as the national facts, and that had come into Parliament, and that had ended up changing the law. That's the kind of problem we aim to solve.
When the press gets something wrong, it can have such a big impact on those at hand. Like, you know, for example, what you said about the Sun publishing the 40% of knife crime for under 18s. I mean, that is absolutely phenomenal. It's flabbergasting, and you know, so they need to be so I think, you know, regulating and actually making sure that the things that are published are correct is something that needs to be done, definitely.
How important is it for young people to voice their opinions about the media?
I think it's extremely important for young people to voice their opinions about everything, but because the media is a hot topic at the moment, it's vitally important for young people to get involved. Starting at home, what do your parents or the people you live with care about it? What do your friends care about it at school? And then push that out. You know, start organising yourselves to influence the decision makers. Let them know how you feel. Let them know that you want policies written with your interests at heart, because power comes in numbers, and there's lots and lots of young people, and if they come together, then radical things will change.
And how successful do you think today's debate has been?
I think today's debate was a success. Obviously, for me, it's always the same. The minute you get to that last part of the debate is when people start getting warmed up and the real stuff comes out. So, you know, next time we'll have a debate that's 7 hours long. But no, jokes aside, I think it's nice to be able to provide people a platform. You know, we're in the Houses of Parliament where all key decisions are made. For people to come in here and voice their views, hopefully then, for me, it's about them going away and sharing that experience. So more people will want to come next time, and more people will talk about it.
What does the future look like for Bite the Ballot in terms of getting young voters' opinions across to Parliament?
The future is a challenge, but it's a challenge that we're happy to take on. And it's an exciting challenge, you know. The best things in the world that have happened have been the ones where people have thought, oh, nothing will change. and it did, and they're the things that get celebrated. So if Bite the Ballot can play a role in seeing young people rebrand politics, engage with politics, and actually want to be part of the conversation, well, then that'd be amazing. So I look forward to it, and the big test is 2015. So call out to everyone that's listening: register to vote if you're 16, have your say, and let's show that we can create the changes we want to see.
My pitch is this, really. I've been a journalist for more than 30 years, and now I'm a gamekeeper turned poacher. I'm for the citizen, and I think that we need to return to the people's press. We need to take ownership of journalism because it's too important to be left to journalists. Frankly, often, sometimes, not often, sometimes they get it wrong. When they get it wrong, they get it horribly wrong, like with a hacking scandal. We also have to look at press ownership, which is not the part of Leveson. He who pays the piper calls the tune. So if Murdoch tells you to go and phone hack, you phone hack if you want to keep hold of your gold American Express card and your big fat salary. And so people start out with ideals. They want to do good by society. They want to properly represent young people. I do believe that. But we have to look at not just commission, omission, how our stories are kept out of the news media, and look at alternatives like citizen journalism.
The press has always been of the people to a large extent. If you don't like what we write, we don't buy us. It's as simple as that. And it's not as if you can insult the reader's intelligence. You're intelligent people, you know what's in the Daily Mail, you know what's in the Sun, you know what's in I, you know what's online. And it's true to say that the traditional industry is dying, but those news brands will continue, and those newsrooms will continue. So it is vitally important to learn some of these lessons from Leveson, because mistakes were indeed made.
What's your name and how did you get involved with the media debate today?
I'm Franklin Addo, also known as Franklin Music. I got involved in the media debate today. Someone contacted me via email and asked me if I wanted to speak based on my experiences of the media, so I obliged.
And what are your experiences with the media?
Basically, I'm now somewhat of a journalist. I do music, I rap, and do a bit of spoken word here and there. And I came to that position through a negative experience. Basically, the newspapers, the tabloids slandered my name by saying I was a gangster rapper, when my music is clearly the polar opposite of that. So yeah, that happened after I decided to go to LSE rather than Cambridge, and they published a headline saying gangster rapper declines Cambridge, so that's how it transpired.
And what publication are you involved with at the moment?
I contribute to The Guardian Online on their Comment is Free section. I also contributed to BBC London, BBC Three, etc. And I'm currently in the process of establishing an independent media publication called This Is 2020, which is thisis2020.com.
And how are you going about starting up your own publication?
I started up the publication. It was co-founded by myself and my good friend Kavid Ali, and basically set it up online. I'm alright with technology, so I set up a little website, and it was basically an outlet for me to write my genuine thoughts and feelings on things that pertain to me, independent of, you know, the direction of an editor, or like without having to be fearful of what I have to say, you know, just to reflect my genuine experiences, because I feel like a lot of experiences are marginalized in the mainstream media. So I basically write whenever I'm inspired to, should write much more often. Genuinely looking for a lot of young writers who have experiences that they feel are overlooked to contribute to that. So yeah, taking it slow, not rushing it, but it does exist and people are reading it, so yeah.
And as the debate today was roughly about how young people are perceived in the media and things to do with young people, what really burst your bubble within the media?
Well, the media is racist. I'll say it as plain as that. The mainstream media are, not to say that all journalists are individually racist, but institutionally, like the issues that pertain to ethnic minorities are relegated and overlooked in the mainstream media. It's also very patriarchal. There's not enough women represented in the media, not working for the media. If they are working in the media, they're not in the higher positions, etc. So there's a lot of little marginalized groups. It's also very middle class who are in the editorial team, etc. So for me, I feel like it's everything in the media. Well, a lot of what is in the media is problematic.
What is your solutions to the problems within the media?
My solutions, I think that more young people should utilise their own media and stimulate their own discussions about the media and things that pertain to them, because within the context of the existing companies, like, you know, there's not much freedom to express how you genuinely feel. So I feel like that's the solution. It's also hard for young people to get into these companies anyway. So yeah, I feel like things like this is 2020, things like this debate to stimulate the minds of young people. I feel like authorities need to step up and fund projects like this to provide us with the infrastructure to deal with some of the issues like that. Yeah, it's not an easy solution. It won't take, yeah, it definitely won't happen overnight, but we can take steps in the right direction.
Con los terroristas.
And do the Harlem Shake.